checkmate with a king and a rook. Today, you are going to learn how to checkmate the lone enemy king when you only have a king and a rook left. This is a very technical but very important endgame that comes up in all levels of games. The first thing that we want to do is take the black king and force him to the 8th rank and checkmate him there. The first step on this long journey is to play rook to h3. Once we play rook to h3, we've now locked off the 3rd rank. That way the king will never be able to move back down, and we will continue to force him up the board until it's checkmate. You may notice, however, it's impossible to checkmate the king with just a rook. Now we have to get the white king involved for this ever to work out. Where we move the king here is very important. Today you're going to learn a lot of technical terms. The first one will have to do with where we step our white king. The white king is going to come in crooked when he's stepping towards the black king. That way he can force the black king to move in a certain direction. So he moves here to e2 into something we call knight's opposition. It's called knight's opposition because if both of the kings were knights, they would be attacking each other. This is very important, as we'll show you in a second. But first, I want to let you know what happens if the black king steps directly in front of the white king. If he steps here, notice how there's one square in between the kings. This is called direct opposition. Here, when we have direct opposition, this is what we're looking for. We want to have direct opposition for white and for it to be white's move, because then we can move the rook up and check the king. Since the white king blocks off the yellow squares and the rook guards the entire 4th rank, now the black king is forced to give up space and move back onto the 5th rank. When he does so, he will move to the f5 square. That way he moves towards the white rook in hopes of capturing it. Now once again we have this crucial position where white has to come in crooked. So the white king will step up to e3, and once again we have knight opposition. Instead of the black king moving to e5 and jumping into direct opposition, he will try to avoid losing space by moving to g5. Notice here he's also attacking the white rook. If white were to make a mistake here, black would snap that rook off the board and it would be a draw. So instead, white zooms the rook over. The king steps back, and now we have knight opposition again, but this is a very different position because it's white's move. White doesn't want to give up knight opposition, so here, he wastes a move by playing rook to b4. This forces the black king to take off running because he doesn't want to step in front of the white king and get checked. Now here, remember that the rook is guarding the 4th rank. Neither king wants to step into that space. So here, the black king runs over to the edge, white follows, and now black is in a very difficult position. He steps right back in front of the king. Now, since the white king is blocking the yellow squares so that the black king cannot step back on the 4th rank, the rook can move up to the 5th rank with check. Again, king can't move down to the other king, so he has to step up onto the 6th rank. Now you'll notice the pattern developing. Here, as the black king is attacking the white rook, once again, the white rook will zoom across the board to safety. The black king steps back, we waste a move, and now the black king starts to run away. The white king wants to force direct opposition, so he follows him over until he has to step in front of him again. Here, the white king is guarding these 3 squares. The rook is able to move up and deliver check. Bam! Check! King scoots back. The white king comes in crooked again. Black king takes off, and here we go. Now, rook zooms across the board. The black king steps back. Here's this very important step where we waste a move for white by playing rook to b6. Now, the black king, trying to avoid direct opposition, takes off. Once the black king moves, the white king follows. Notice how neither king, even the white king, will not cross in front of the rook's path. Again, notice how the black king is getting less and less space on this board. Now he's forced into the back row. His last hope, trying to attack the white rook. White rook shimmies out of the way. Black king steps back into knight's opposition and white wastes a move. The black king is running out of options. He runs to the edge. Now we have direct opposition again. And since the white king is blocking off the 7th rank and the rook takes the 8th rank, this is checkmate. Now you know how to checkmate with just one king and one rook against the lone enemy king. Good luck, and have fun in your games.